Hello everyone! Welcome back to our Lonely Hardcore Survival, a place where we can all be lonely together. My name is Lonely, so let's get started. Last episode we brought up all of the red houses in the village, and I see a ton of light grey houses left. So what do you say we grab some light grey terracotta and continue building? Yeah, we do have quite a lot, and I really love the building style that we did on last episode, which for the ones who haven't seen it yet, instead of working on one house at a time, we're gonna work on all of the houses simultaneously. And because we've done it plenty of times before, let's start right away by removing the cobblestone, placing the terracotta down, raising the walls, adding a place for a door, and some nice windows, so we have this basic shape. And now of course I want to repeat the same exact thing on every single light grey terracotta house. That's one done, and another one more right here, a long one right here, a tall one right here, and another cute one right here. Just forgot a tiny window here, and here's another one by the cliff, one more right here. I must say I really like the shape of this one, and from what I can see, this right here seems to be the last one. Beautiful, and just like that, we were able to bring up all of the houses. Now I can leave the terracotta right here, get rid of everything that I do not need, instead grab a bunch of spruce and some leaves so that we can start changing the floors, adding some doors, windows, some more decoration here and there, and of course work on this roof. And before I completely forget, I want to add some light as well. And now of course, let's go ahead and do the same thing with every other house in the village. Yes, my friends! After quite a lot of work, all of the light grey terracotta houses are completely done. And I would love to show you some of my favorites, starting with this diagonal house right here, which I really think turned out great despite its unique design. And although I usually wouldn't do this, I'm trying to leave very small gaps between the houses to act as some tiny streets where eventually we can put a nice little decoration. Of course, if you have some ideas on what I should put in these little streets, let me know down in the comments. Next up, this house on the cliff, I also think it turned out pretty nicely. And what's interesting about these designs is that despite the base colors, the rest is pretty much the same. But because of the variation in shapes and height, there is no one house that's similar. And right next to it, the last house which I really like is this one right here, because of its variated roof design, which seems like it's stepping up, and its beautiful presence as we make our way up the mountain. Well, my friends, with this done, and the village looking even better than it was before, I really feel like continuing building. But instead of building the village, last episode I made a little dye farm far away in this direction, and I haven't quite had the time to build a build around it. So what do you say we make our way over there and use the materials that we find to build it all the way up, kind of like we did on our vacation home, which I think was a neat little challenge. We have plenty of oak and birch around, of course a ton of dyes, and sheep for some wool, and stone and dirt all around, so I think we should be pretty good with materials. And because this dye farm right here produces just a little bit of flowers, I thought it would be pretty nice to build some others all around this flower forest, make individual little builds for all of them, depending on the dyes that they produce, and hopefully we'll be able to easily have all of the dyes in the game. But first things first, let's go ahead and start working on this little build right here, starting by collecting some of this oak and some of this birch as well. And now with all of these leaves falling, why don't we grab our Andy hoe and get some of them, even the birch leaves, which I think are gonna look really cool. Awesome. And as wood materials go, I think this is gonna be more than enough. Now with these few remaining free slots, I would love to grab some stone just to add a nice neutral block inside the build, which I think is really gonna help it stand out. Oh yes, and now with all of these items, we're ready to make our way back to the dye farm, leave all of the items just collected inside this chest just to make it much easier to get them later on. Now before I actually start building, I would like to find the iron golem, or if we're lucky maybe just some iron. There we go. And while I'm at it, I'm also gonna grab some of this coal and of course some cobblestone to make a furnace. Now we can fortune all of this iron and this coal, smelt it so that I can craft some shears and steal a little bit of wool from these unsuspecting sheep. And wow, that was a lot of sheep, and they just keep coming. Well, I'm actually gonna use this wool in combination with these 3 dyes that we get from this farm to showcase which colors we get right here. And my idea is that in a future episode, we're gonna build this farm once again, somewhere around here to get all of the dyes that we can from flowers. Well, but now with all of the items gathered, I think it's time that we start planning out this build. First things first, let's create a stone cutter that we can put right here on top of the crafting table, where I always put it. Now we can convert some of the stone into stone bricks, so we can start planning out the base of this build. Awesome, I think something this big should do. Now with the oak, we can start bringing up some pillars, then we can repeat the same exact thing on this side. There we go. Now we just have to connect the sides to one another. I think I also want to add some support beams on the sides, just like so. And now that we have a great foundation to work with, let's get back the stone bricks, start working on the walls. With a combination of chiseled stone bricks, stairs, regular stone bricks, I think we'll achieve a very interesting pattern. Now with some planks, we can make some handy oak stairs that we'll be able to sprinkle around to add some interesting details and some variation. And of course I'm gonna need some fences that we'll be able to add as windows. Now we can complete the look with some upside down stairs. Oh wow, and I almost forgot the leaves, with some trapdoors to give them much needed support. Awesome, and now with one side done, let's repeat the same thing on the opposite side. And I'm afraid I'll also have to get rid of this tree right here, just to get more space for building. Starting with the chisel stone bricks, continuing with the stairs, finally this little stone brick right here, the fences, the upside down stairs, a good night's sleep, some slabs, and some more upside down stairs, and finally the leaves, with the trapdoors of course. And finally, just missing the slab. Beautiful, and with the sides done, let's see what we can do for the front and the back. First of all, I want to make this retaining wall much more interesting by adding some variations in blocks, just like so. And now to add some much needed depth, let's add some spruce that we can strip with some oak stairs and trapdoors, and yes, something like this should work just fine. However, to add a little bit more color on the sides, let's add some leaf pillars that can probably help separate out a little bit of this wood. And I forgot to strip this little birch right here. Alright, let's do the same thing on this side and see how it looks overall before repeating this whole design on the opposite side. Oh yes, I think this is great. So let's repeat this whole thing right here. The design will mainly be the same, but just a little different here in the middle, because I'm gonna need a door to access the bone meal chest. Alright, I think this is great. So now it's time to work on this roof. And I also wanna make some torches, iron nuggets, make some lanterns, because now that I think about it, I would actually like this roof to be flat to add a nice little balcony and storage area up here. But this means that down here it's gonna be pretty dark. That's why we can always go ahead and add some light with lantern. And of course the same thing on the other side. Now we can put some oak logs strategically with some fences, some slabs, trapdoors, and of course fence gates and leaves and lights to complete this nice little balcony. And now let's repeat the same thing on this side. Hello my friend, what are you doing here? It's alright, you can stay there for now, because I have to put some slabs, some oak logs, some fences with some more slabs and some trapdoors, the leaves and the fence gates to also call this part of the roof done. And all that's missing is this top part. So let's put back all of the items that we do not need, and I'm probably gonna need some more birch. So let's go grab some. And while I'm at it, I also wanna grab some more wool. Hey, look at that, there's the iron golem. Not much need for you now, huh? Well, I hope you protect the village, my friend. Alright, that was the last birch tree that I saw in the surrounding area, and this gives us nearly 2 stacks. So now let's make some dye, count the amount of blocks that we need, and now dye the wool. And yes, we're definitely gonna need more. Beautiful, this should do. Now with the birch we just collected, let's turn some of it into planks, then into stairs that we can use to add a nice little trim to this roof. Well, we had just the right amount. Anyways, now it's time to add the pink wool, orange one, and finally the white one. And now for some extra decoration, just gotta add some stairs here and there to make it feel like the roof is standing together. Alright, I really love the way that this looks. I think I'm gonna have to get rid of this big tree so that we can see our farm from afar. But now let's sleep the night once again and figure out what to do with the remaining section of the build. I think I'm gonna keep it very simple, using some upside down stairs, both sides, some birch, and some fences here to cover the gap. And why not some more stairs right here on top? Now we can strip it. Now to do the same thing on the other side. There we go. And now right here in front, because it looks a little bland, go ahead and add some stairs. Why not some trapdoors as well? Now of course you have to do the same thing on this side right here with the stairs and the trapdoors. And I think it's time to get rid of this giant tree. Don't we all love giant oak trees? Well, now with the tree gone, we're gonna be able to see this little build much better. As you can see, there's a huge hole here on the sides, so let's fix that, shall we? I think I'm gonna go back in with the stone bricks, just to add some color variation, with some stairs on the pillars, and then continue the rest with slabs. I would really like to have easy access to the opposite side, so let's create a nice little pathway, with some nice stripped birch on the sides, and why not some more handy stairs? Beautiful. And now the only thing left, I know I say that a lot, but really the only thing left is an easy way to get up and down, because I don't want to use this leaf staircase forever. So let's get rid of that, and instead right here in the back, we can continue the stripped birch, make some ladders, and place them down right here, where we can then add a little section to easily go up and down. And of course I need to add a little bit of light here and there. Now with a couple chests, we can transfer everything to the top. And now with a little bit of reorganization, we can finally call this build done. Wow, my friends, looks so beautiful from afar as well. And of course, once we get here, we can easily see which colors it produces by checking the wool on the top. I think it's gonna be so cool once you have more of these laying around this mountain. But for now, with many of the houses built and this beautiful dye farm completed, I think it's time that we move on to the next part of the video, which is gonna be the challenge and the naming. Oh, and by the way, if you'd like to see this farm with shaders, I left some nice clips at the end of the video. Without any further ado, my friends, let's make our way back home so we can talk about our weekly challenge. Starting with my friend Ginger Time Lord, who made a beautiful surreal field using a ton of pink color. What I love about this the most is how magical it all looks. So thank you very much, my friend, for this beautiful submission and great work on this beautiful field. Next up, my friend Selke made an incredible flower field hanging over a cliff, and he also added a nice little waterfall, which I always think is a great touch to add to any of your builds. So my friend, great work as well, and thanks for the submission. My friend Toba not only made an awesome flower field inside of a very fancy greenhouse, which I truly love, especially with the little pots on the side, but he also submitted a nice little bridge that he created for last week's challenge. And I must say that I love the combination of dark oak and deep slate, and of course the sea lanterns with the warp stem variants. So my friend Toba, great work, I can't wait to see what you do next, and thanks as well for this beautiful submission. And last but definitely not least, my friend Tyler also made a beautiful red field full of bees and honey, which is a great way to bring your fields to life, to add some nice natural movement and plenty of color. So my friend, great work with this beautiful field, and thanks as well for this wonderful submission. Which one was your favorite? Let me know down in the comments. And now for this week's challenge, following the constructions of these beautiful houses, I would really love to see the most Italian build that you can come up with. This build can be a house, or a fountain, or even a villa if you're feeling brave, but really anything that you want. I'm very curious to see your Italian build, so when you have something, take a screenshot of it and send it over to our lonely Discord. I will put every single submission in my next video. Alright my friends, with this done, it's time to move to the naming. Starting with my friend Echo, who would like me to name a baby turtle Maizuki, so now we just have to find one. Here are some turtles, right next to a villager outpost, and I figured that the baby turtle was gonna grow up anyways, so my friend, I hope you do not mind if I name an actual turtle Maizuki. Well, there you go, my friend, now Maizuki is gonna live among us forever. Next up, my friend Eric would like me to name a cat after them, and I'm pretty sure I saw a cat somewhere around this village, so let's find it again. I can't find it anywhere, so let's look for another village, and hopefully a nice little cat. Wow, as I was looking for a cat, I found this awesome biome where I always wanted to build something. Let me know what I could build inside this little island. Anyways, back to searching. Well, I did not find what I was looking for, but I have an idea. Let's get Lego and whiskey with a little bit of fish so we can make some more cats. As soon as whiskey gets off the chest, of course. There we go. Now we can name this little fellow Eric. There you go, my friend. Next up, my friend Fish Villager would like me to put a fish named after them inside of our Italian village, so there you go, my friend. Okay, I'm just joking. Let's get a bucket that we can fill with water, use it to grab an actual salmon, and apparently it's the first time that I do this. And now, with the help of an anvil, we can rename this salmon in the bucket Fish Villager. And now my hope is that by making this fountain a little deeper, filling it with water, and dropping the little salmon inside, oh yes, it's already named. If ever I did come prepared, but it's very good to know that it is this easy to rename fishes in Minecraft. Well, there you go, my friend. Welcome to the village. Next up, my friend Jokesen would like me to name a chicken, cheap version of T-Rex, so there you go, my friend. And wow, there are so many eggs. And on the topic of chickens, my friend Kosh would like me to name a cat Gav, so there you go, my friend. Right next to Eric. I admit, this has nothing to do with chickens, but I thought it was gonna be a cool transition. And my friend Madesh would like me to name a wooden sword with looting 3, voila, so there you go, my friend, voila. And of course it's gonna go inside of our trophy room. And my friend Roy would like me to name a villager after them, so if I can get to one, there you go, my friend, your full name. Next up, my friend C would like me to name a totem of undying Maradona, so there you go, my friend. Seeing that this is my last totem, let's put it back inside the shulker box and keep it here for rainy days. And last but definitely not least, following up from the weekly challenge, my friend Tyler would like me to name a cow Meow, so there you go, my friend. This should have probably been on the topic of cats. Oh well, I'll know for next time. Oh yes, so yes, my friends, with the challenge submissions displayed, this weekly challenge talked about, and the naming's done, I think it's time to call it an episode. I wanna thank you all so very much for watching, and as always, if you like this kind of content, it would mean the world to me if you subscribe. I post content like this every single week, and of course I would love to have you around. Don't forget that if you wanna participate in the weekly challenge, you can just post a screenshot of your Italian build on our lonely Discord, and you're gonna find it without a doubt in our next episode. And it's my YouTuber duty to let you know that if you would like to support the channel financially, I left some useful links in the video's description. Well, my friends, without any further ado, I wanna wish you all a beautiful day. My name is Lonely, and I hope that in the past couple minutes we were able to be a little less lonely together. Well, my friends, I will see you very, very soon. Bye bye. Go to sleep. There we go.